In today's video, I will be talking about the new update, Fluxion, and this is going to be right now on the private test server. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, if this is the first major update of the year, then this might be one of the weaker ones that we've received thus far. Not because this is a bad update per se, it's just mainly one of those updates that makes you go like, that's it. But yeah, honestly, the update on its own, once you actually do read the patch note, which I'll leave that in the description down below, is not bad. In reality, it actually has some really good ideas and some really good additions into the game. There's obviously, of course, two very questionable things in this update. First of all, there's an item in the store that costs 1500 credits, and the only thing that it does is a style stash that unlocks a random event item, mount, or whatever. Is so weird. It's super expensive for one item, so you can easily just spend 1500 credits to get an ally for an event. The other thing is just going to be, and this is by far the worst out of both of them, is going to be 250,000 flux for 25 different looking bombs. This is just completely random. It would have been nice if it was at least a style, but no, it's just 25 bombs with different skin. This is coming from a game that has mods where you can actually change how the bomb looks. But hey, it is what it is. Anyways, this is going to be on the test server, so everything is subject to change. I just need to mention all of that. And once again, patch notes in the description down below. Now, there's going to be two new stuff added into this update. And of course, there's going to be the usual additional updates category, which is mainly used to fix like old stuff and bug fixing in general. So I will be going over the new stuff first, of course, and then I will be going into the additional updates. And of course, everything will be timestamped right there for you to skip into every single one. First, let's start talking about Fluxion itself. Fluxion is going to be a pretty good idea on paper, but in reality it can be done better. I will be just telling a little bit of an idea on what they can actually do to improve upon the Fluxion's, the approach for Fluxion. So I will let you all know in regards to all of that once I explain what is Fluxion on its own. So to explain Fluxion, this is going to be a community-based Fluxion, in which the inventory is based on the items that all of the community voted on, which is going to appear in Fluxion's inventory once the vote ends. So you vote using Flux, and then there's not going to be any limit on how many votes that you can vote. But of course, the more votes that you put in on a specific item, the more Flux is going to cost. And the items that has the most votes after the time just ends, those are going to be the items that are going to appear in Fluxion's inventory. Fluxion is a completely separate NPC from Luxion, so Luxion is going to have its own inventory, and Fluxion is going to have the community-based inventory. By the way, for those who are just wondering. Anyways, you vote in the hub, and then Fluxion is going to appear in front of Luxion's spawn, and it's just going to have the item that has the most votes. And all of the items that didn't appear on the Fluxion's inventory will have this. All of those votes carry on to the next inventory. So if you vote for a specific item and that item didn't reach into Fluxion's inventory, all of those votes are just going to carry over to the next one. And all of the items that won that round, so all of the items that appear in the inventory, will not appear on the next inventory. They're just going to appear in subsequent rounds, essentially. So yeah, so imagine it being like cooldowns once they appear in Fluxion's inventory. Now, this is great, allowing players to vote for specific items that they want. However, this is going to be tied to community voting, in which is the main voting, well, the voting part is going to be using Flux. And the thing is with Flux is that the players that have a lot of Flux are two players, either maxed out players or players that don't generally use Flux for whatever reason. So players who can easily get the most benefit from the system might struggle a little bit in competing with all of those other players, because the endgame players, they don't need any of those items, but they can easily just vote to whatever item that they want. And obviously the other players that have a lot of Flux, just randomly, it's just going to be the players that are going to decide which items are going to appear. So if you have an item that not a lot of players want, then you're pretty much just screwed out of luck, because you essentially have to wait longer than most other players that want a specific item. And there's just way too many items to choose from, so getting the item that you do want is just going to be very difficult, because there's going to be a lot of players that need a lot of different items, and so on and so forth. So you can actually see where the drawback actually lies. So then again, Fluxion's inventory is separated from the regular Luxion's inventory, so there's more chances of getting a specific item that you do want. However, I personally believe this is going to be a perfect opportunity to add this system rather than the system that we have with the current Fluxion. And this is going to be the system that I personally thought of. This is not a perfect system. I'm well aware of that one. But I feel this is going to be a much better system for what they're trying to do with Fluxion. So let's all be 100% real right here. Luxion is outdated. Luxion's been here for 5.5 years, for those who are just wondering. Luxion was introduced on December 2017. There's been a total of 140 different types of Luxion's inventory, and there's far too many items in rotation, and probably there's going to be many more items to come in the future because Luxion usually has retired items and event items, and there's far too many options for Luxion to have a specific item to appear on Luxion, and to get the item that you do desire, the chances are just very low. So what I thought of is going to be to remove all of the Luxion's items in regular Luxion's inventory, and rather than just having all of that, just have a Luxion coin or token of some sort. And this Luxion token will allow you to just buy every single mastery item that is on regular Luxion's inventory. So how it can work is going to be like this. You can just buy the Luxion token. There's going to be a limit of 10 tokens per Luxion visit, and each token is going to cost 10 dragon coins. So similar to current Luxion style stashes where it costs 25 dragon coins, but there's only a limit of 5. This could be 10 dragon coins and a limit of 10. So you can use those tokens or coins or whatever you want to call them on Fluxion with a little bit of extra flux to get any single item that was part of Luxion's inventory. So you don't have to wait over a specific item to appear, and you don't have to compete on voting for the item that you do want. And with a limit of 10 coins, it means that there's going to always be an anticipation on each Luxion visit, and it obviously fits with the limited time offer that Luxion provides, aka time gated content. And now you might be thinking that that's just going to lose the value on all of those items, and to that I will just say, what would you use the flux anyway that isn't just related to mastery? If you really just want to get all of those items to sell them to make flux, you generally just use those flux to get more mastery. So at that point, rather than just going over such a convoluted process to sell a specific item, let's just say make the tokens tradable, and you can just sell them to other players so you can make flux just by spending some dragon coins, which is going to help out also the end game players that doesn't necessarily need any of this because they can easily just sell the tokens to the newer players. So it's just going to be essentially a win-win scenario for everyone, and obviously of course it's just going to cost dragon coin, and it's just going to make it so that dragon challenges is a little bit more desirable. That's essentially the system that I personally believe is just going to but make the Fluxion system a little bit better rather than the current voting system. The current voting system is alright, but this system I do feel is just going to be really, really good in general. It's just personal. It's a personal thing that I'm just going to let it out there. Anyways, that's essentially everything in related to the Fluxion system. Overall, it's a good system. It allows you to essentially just get more items, which is good for the newer players. It's not going to mean anything for the players who are maxed out, but the newer players are going to see any form of benefits. Now, let's continue with the second big addition, which is going to be Soul Castrator. Wait, hold on, come again? Soul Castrator. What the hell? Bruh. I was just editing this footage and I just realized that I call it Castrator, even though it's Catastra. Sorry about that. So TLDR, this is going to be a new Delve biome. Before you go crazy and go, oh my god, there's more Delve, what the hell? This is by far the best Delve biome that they've ever added into the game. Is not even close, and I am praying and hoping that this is going to be something that they just adding into the future with all of the other delves, and just change all of the other delves to be very similar to this one. So to explain regular delves are just essentially geode caves, so you can just navigate at normal speed. But the thing is, with the geode caves are just very vertical, since Of course, those were made in mind with Rocket Boost and Pathpainter with the modules. And the thing is with the geode cave, it's just essentially just a copy paste of the same caves, but with different colors and sometimes with some decoration that are mostly in the way and just being annoying looking at you, Crack the Court. And just essentially they just don't look good and they are not particularly great to navigate. This new biome in particular, rather than just being a cave, is a dungeon. And for old school players, this is going to be very familiar. Yes, this is very similar to Shadow Dungeons. Very straightforward, open rooms, and it just looks unique. Even though sometimes it can just get a little bit weird like this right there. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. And yeah, this, in my own personal opinion, is what Dells should have been, honestly. And I pray they just made all of the Dells similar to this one, because this is just great. I got nothing bad to say about this biome in particular. Looks good and plays good. And now, of course, this is going to be a new biome. It means that there's going to be new creatures, new mementos, new resources. Rather than just having regular crystals and shadow shards, it's going to have a new exclusive crystal that is going to be tied to this biome in particular, which is going to be called Cat's Eye Gemeralds, which are going to be used for all of the new stuff, all of the new mastery items. And one of those new stuff is going to be a mount upgrade as well, which allows you to upgrade the mount that you do have equipped into a mount that can be used in challenge and private delves. Any mount. So volatile bounders in regular private delves and challenge delves is going to be a thing. Gonda is going to be essentially a thing. For me personally, volatile bounder in regular delves, please sign me up. And yes, and there's also going to be stuff like more inert geode wallet, which is just going to increase the cap to 1400. Even though in my own personal opinion, they should just allow it with no limit, because Dells have been here since 2020 and removing the limit is just going to help out the newcomers, and the old players already have everything, you know, that's just me. But anyways, more energy is always good. There's way much more stuff in regards to this biome, so I would just highly advise you and recommend you to just go into the test server for you to test it out. This biome is, as far as I know, it's only Vault, so it's only going to appear as a Vault floor, and the Death Stepper can be crafted in the Delve workbench like any other biome Depth Stepper with the same resources and bleach bones. Right, that's pretty much everything with the 2 new additions into this update. Some other notable things to keep in mind is going to be now you can track badges. If you want to grind a specific badge, you can just put it in favorite, and it's going to track on the right side on the screen, similar to like events or something like that. You can actually just see it right there. The limit that you can have is 5, so 5 badges you can have tracking at the same time. All of the Luxion exclusive emblems have been moved into the Trove Wondership, so yes, this includes Unyielding and Zealous emblem. Like I just mentioned, there's going to be a new event style stash, or whatever you want to call it, on the store, which, like I mentioned, 1500 credits, super expensive, and this will unlock a random mount, ally, boat, sail, wings, or Mac Rider that is going to be part of the event category. And no, this doesn't include costumes, and this doesn't include store pack items, those items that were available during specific events. Also, like I just mentioned, there's also the overpriced that is known as bombs, which cost 250,000 flux for 25 different looking bombs. Like, come on, this is a game where players can mod their bombs. Like, why would anyone just buy them? At least just put them as styles, so once you do have them, you can just unlock them, you can just change the style of your regular bombs. That would be okay at least, but 250,000 flux for 25 different looking bombs, like what the hell? And the last thing is just going to be that there's going to be some dungeons in Geotopside, Candoria, Desert Frontier, Dragonfire Peaks, and the Jurassic Jungle that have been slightly adjusted for a better experience for the most part. I haven't tested that one out. I want to test out Geotopside after just recording this, so I'll let you know probably on text on somewhere on screen. But yeah, anyways, that's just the whole update. Once again, I didn't cover literally everything, and which that's why I'm leaving it in the patch note in the description down below. And if there's anything new significant on this patch, and I will obviously, of course, just put it in the comments of this video, or maybe make a new video entirely, who knows. Anyways, that's just going to be everything for me for today. Overall, this update, once again, is pretty good. It has really good addition. The new Delpine is fantastic, and the Fluxion is a good addition into the game that obviously, of course, can be done a little bit better. But that's just going to be everything for me. Thank you everyone for watching. Leave a like, sub for more content like this. Road to 4.7k. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Take care and keep on hunting. See ya.